We're rolling.
All right.
So last week we talked about how to fix fast food, part one, and the solve. Get rid of micromanagement. Let's inject some autonomy. Now, that's a change that you and I won't be able to make overnight. So in this next one that I guess we were talking as the week was going on, it's like, okay, well, we can't wave a wand and get people to just stop micromanaging us. So how do we succeed in spite of that? Maybe not in spite of it, but despite.
Despite it, yeah.
Despite it.
And we've said that of a lot of industries, the QSR industry does open itself up to micromanaging, with low margins, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, I'm going to give you a couple of my ideas. You give me a couple of your ideas. I might act as a foil to you, on some of the things, but we come from different perspectives, right? First thing I want to say is that, I think a lot of people automatically can make the assumption that they're being micromanaged because they have to work with guardrails or two guardrails, right? So KPI and metrics they're good. Everyone, whether you're a high performer or a low performer, everyone has to be held accountable.
Yeah.
So I don't want to work towards this KPI or that. That KPIs and metrics in and of themselves aren't bad. They help high performers. It's kind of like you run. There's a finish line, right? You're running towards that finish line. You're not willy-nilly just out there running and running and running, right? Or you're running towards a time.
Yeah, I just went to the track today and I timed my reps.
So that's a KPI, right?
Yes.
But that's the first thing, is that I think that there's people can push against KPIs and metrics and not realize that they are important. They are goals. They are, they are things to work towards.
But we're not talking about that. We're talking about how to succeed in spite of it.
Right. But this is my buildup.
Okay.
And the other thing I would say, are you truly being micromanaged? If I'm being micromanaged, I'm being micromanaged, I'm being micromanaged. The first thing I would say is just reflect on it a little bit. Are you truly being micromanaged? So those are my two jumping off foil points, So take it away. I've got a lot more, but.
Yeah, I think questions are the answer. And so when you have your boss asking you a question, are they doing that or are they questioning? And I think it's okay to have that conversation with them. So, are you questioning or are you just asking a question? That's those questions I have asked my boss, and just to make sure that she and I are on the same page. But as far as micromanaging goes, in my experience, you have to think a little bit more rather than just where the micromanaging is happening, but where it's coming from. And sometimes it's not always your boss. It's above his or her head. And when you know that, then that'll allow you to give them way more grace, because you know that it's just somebody else in the company working through them. Shit rolls downhill, so to speak. And the other thing that I have to constantly be in a state of self-assessment about is, because I hate being micromanaged, I do have to ask myself the question, am I being micromanaged or is she just asking a question?
Right.
But at the same time, my boss and I have a very transparent relationships, and so she knows that's not something that I get down with, and so she's also very professional in the way that she communicates with me to know that, hey, Hunter's a high performer. That's not the guy that we want to do that to.
High performers hate to be micromanaged.
No, hate it.
High performers even hate to be managed. And you said question. I got a note I wrote ask clear questions before, ask clear questions of your boss before and document them. Hey, on this day at this time, I asked you this. This was your answer.
Mm-hmm.
Have we changed since then?
Mm-hmm.
And he or she may very well say, yeah, we've changed. Or my boss changed things.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important too, is it your direct report, or is it their direct report, or is it culture, or is it,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's important. And the other thing I think, especially if you feel you're being micromanaged, to me, micromanaged and trust go hand in hand. So win trust with small things. If you think you're being micromanaged, win trust with small things. Keep your word. If you say, okay, I'll do this, I'll do that, I'll do this. Do it, communicate it.
Yeah,
and perform. I told you that before too, is perform.
Yeah, under two different bosses in two different organizations, I've had two different approaches when it comes to being micromanaged. Mm-hmm. One, as you just said, is perform. So the better of a job that you do and the less things that you make yourself a liability for with your boss, whether it's food inspections for audits or cash stability or just something as simply as metrics. If you just go out there and you do what you need to do, they're going to give you more and more rope.
Right.
Now, in another scenario, if you want to, how do you succeed despite being micromanaged? You can actually micromanage the micromanager. And so you can just inundate that person with updates about every little thing. And that's the way that I did that with another one of my bosses. That actually, I wouldn't say that it built a good relationship between the individual and myself, but we knew where each other stood. And
so I wrote update them before asked.
Yeah.
Update them before you're asked and find a rhythm to the updating. So let's say every Tuesday I'm calling them and giving them an update. Mm-hmm. And just constantly update. Mm-hmm. And I think that's important, because a lot of time, especially those people that you feel are micromanaging, but they're not necessarily micromanaging you, they're being forced to micromanage you. So I think with those people, the updating before they ask is important, because then they can update whoever they report to.
And another one that I had that I haven't put into practice yet, I'm thinking about it. We had our loss prevention audit at one of our stores this week, and the gentleman who was conducting the audit, great guy, Christian, able to just be very transparent with one mm-hmm. another. And I just asked him, how do you deal with this? And he said, I'm a big list guy. And so he made a big list, and he said, he said, when I was in your shoes, I shared it to my direct report, and I said, I've done all of these things. Right? Here's where we are. That's
funny that you say that, because right here, bullet point, star by it, show your plan.
Yeah.
I wrote down, show your plan.
Mm-hmm.
So win trust with small things, update them constantly, and show your plan.
Form, update them constantly, and then, like I said, those are the two things that I do. The one that I'm doing right now is just performing. It's like, okay, you guys know I can do this. Right. Just get out of my way.
And track your wins.
Yeah.
Track your wins. Mm-hmm. You can do it not in a braggadocious kind of way, but you can also say, well, remember last week we hit all of our metrics. This week we might fall short on this one, but we're going to hit all the others.
Yeah.
Next week, my plan, show your plan, mm-hmm. is to hit them all.
And with enough time and probably enough time, you'll be able to figure out what the actual priority is mm-hmm. in a company. Because when you're being micromanaged, typically they're asking you to go full speed in every direction. Okay, well, we've got metrics and we've got perfect reviews and we've got complaints and we've got audits coming up for food and health inspections and all of these things. As the time goes on, like when I first got placed at my store in Zealand back in August, it was like drinking water out of a fire hose. I had a new boss because I was in a new area and I was taking over the store, and there were all of these things coming at me. And after about 3 weeks, I realized what the actual priority was. And then as soon as I went out and just started doing that, then we were able to just sort of attack everything else after the fact. Because, hey, when I hit a perfect period, my boss gets a bonus too. So when I put money in her pocket, she's a happy camper, right? And then I can.
Well, that's there is. I know you hate when I say this, but there is politics in business, and part of our job is to make our direct reports look good. Whether we like it or not, and high performers don't, but whether you like it or not, that's part of the job.
Yeah, I got no problem with making my boss look good because that affords me more career capital to do other things.
Yeah, but if you make your boss look good, you look good, you're less likely to be micromanaged. Mm-hmm. I asked a few people, hey, what do you think about micromanaging, or what's your take on micromanaging? And almost to a person, all of them brought up in some way, shape, or form trust. Mm. You'll be less micromanaged the more they trust you. Mm-hmm. And how do you gain trust? You perform. Win it with the small things.
What would you say a small thing is?
So let's say you've got 6 KPIs that you're working towards. Mm-hmm. And there is no way, especially new on the job, those kind of things, drinking from the fire hose, like you said, there's no way you're going to hit all 6. But maybe you can hit 1 or 2 or 3. And then you hit those and you say, hey, couldn't hit all 6, but I hit these 3. And like you alluded to, your direct report may say, well, I'm really glad you hit speed. Mm-hmm. Ding, ding, ding. Speed's important to my boss.
Yeah, I think as long as you're able to, and again, and to give it enough time, hopefully within a month or less, you'll be able to figure out what the priority is. Right. And then just go and hit that thing. Like, for example, at this new store, because I've worked myself out of a job at Zealand, my AGM is fully taking over as the RGM this upcoming Wednesday. And I'm at my other store right now. And I've been with the company long enough to know now that, okay, the priorities are metrics, period.
Right.
Period. So am I going to be worried about a whole lot of loss prevention right now and our totes being perfect and all of our cash deposits and all those things? That's just not a priority right now. I know it's not. It's not. We'll get to that as soon as we start getting 80% green or more every single week. Like, we'll get to that. I'm not even worried about that. I'm not worried about complaints. I'm not worried about even if guacamole is made at night or in the morning. Like, we will figure it. Like, we'll get there. Mm-hmm. Right, we'll get there as soon as we can start hitting speed and not wasting as much food and being a little bit tighter on the labor budget. Like, that's the priorities, the metrics. Everything else can just go to hell for right now, and then. But as soon as you know what the priority is, go after that full speed, and then you can worry about everything else a little bit later after that. I mean, there's still going to be, don't get me wrong, there's still going to be chirping that you'll hear about, about complaints and perfect reviews and DCEs. DCEs are daily cash envelopes for anybody who is listening. But all of those things, there's going to be some noise with that, but you know what the signal is. And whatever the signal is the priority. You go after the priority, and then the micromanaging will sort of loosen up. In my experience.
Right. And always stay calm and professional. Even if...
Which is something I don't do.
Even if it's, this is under my skin, this, constantly, chirping, like you said, always stay calm and professional with your report. Find someone else you can vent to, but always stay calm and professional with your report. Because believe it or not, whether we like it or not, whether we are a high performing individual, nobody is irreplaceable. And if you're the problem, see ya. Always give solutions, not problems. Always offer solutions, not problems. It's like, oh, I've got to call this person and talk to them about this KPI because they didn't hit it. I'm dreading calling that person because I know they're just going to go from 0 to 100. But if you're on the receiving end of that call, stay calm and professional and say, we didn't hit that KPI. This is my solution for hitting it. No, yes.
No.
Okay.
I mean, again, it just depends on what your priority is, right? In terms of, but I think that comes with the caveat. I think you have to have established some career capital in order to say no to that, right? Give my second store perfect example right now. It's like, okay, well, we're bad 34 hours for the week on labor. What's the plan to get it back? There is no plan. There is no plan to get it back right now. This is purely an investment time to start training and rebuilding the foundation that was lost since I used to be back there in November. Now we have to build that foundation again. We're going to blow labor, so there is no plan to get that back. But if you haven't performed yet, well, then you.
But you're also, one of the things I said earlier was show your plan. So no, my intention isn't to blow labor from now until the end of time. This is my plan. First, we're focusing on this. Labor is going to suffer a little bit in the interim. Yeah. But it's not going to suffer for the long term. Labor is important. That's one of my measurable KPIs. That's one of the guardrails, one of the goals if I'm running the race, the times. But right now, I have to, if you're a runner, right now I have to make sure we're getting out of the starting block quick. Right now I have to make sure that, we have the muscles to finish the race.
And what you might find is, and what I'm sort of finding again now with my second stint here at this other location, is that and so this would just say that, this would buttress the point that you made before, is that plans changed. And so like, even with the shift that I worked last night at this other store, it's just like, is there really a lot of training that needs to happen here? Or do we just need to get the guys motivated again?
Right.
And what I'm finding, and I think that's what I'm sort of rethinking now, is like, I don't know how much training actually needs to be had here. I think I just need to deploy myself back to the night crew a little bit for a month or so and just reinvigorate everybody. Because it's like, we ran great times all night last night. We didn't really train a whole lot of people. We were just having fun with the music going, and like, if they're just juiceless, and if you're juiceless, you're useless. But
write that one down. If you're juiceless, you're useless.
If you're juiceless, you're useless. That's what Pete Carroll told my coach at Grand Valley, and then he started letting music play at practice. Yeah. So Coach Mitchell met with Pete Carroll when he was with the Seahawks. And that's what Pete Carroll told Coach Mitchell. He said, if you're juiceless, you're useless. And then Coach Mitchell started letting us play music at practice, because that's what the Seahawks did. So, but yeah. And so that's what we do at that store now. As soon as the lobby closes at 11, we bring out the Bluetooth stereo and we just have a great time. And then it's just, such a little thing, right? Wasn't happening before. And then as soon as you just inject a little bit of fun, a little bit of enthusiasm, a little bit of get after it, then they start getting after it. So I say all that to say that plans change, like you said earlier. And so that's a little bit off topic in terms of micromanaging, but
Yeah, maybe it is, maybe it isn't, because, oh, I'm being micromanaged, This was never an issue for the last 5 months. And all of a sudden now it's an issue. Plans change. And then that's where you ask the clear questions.
Yeah.
Hey, you really seem to be talking to me a lot about customer complaint. And is that the focus now?
Yeah, and just have a clear conversation with your direct report. And that's one thing that I've done a lot of with my direct report. Just be like, hey, I don't think this is coming from you. Is that true?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, well actually, yeah. Okay, well then I start doing some digging, not digging, but just whoever I interact with, the more people I interact with, I understand where it actually is coming from, and then I can apply way more grace. But at the same time, then I know where it's coming from. I'm just like, oh, okay, so this is cultural. Like, okay, well.
So I'm going to ask you a question now, and I think this is an important topic. I think it's a question that a lot of people ask themselves, but I don't think there's not a firm answer on it. Is how do you know when it won't change? And planning your next move.
How do you know when it won't change? I think once you realize where it's coming from, and then how many degrees of separation you are from that individual, and then how long that individual has been in position and or with the company, that will shed a lot of light as far as like, okay, well, this ain't gonna change. So I think you have two options. One, you can continue to build career capital and then build a bridge like I did from the Subway franchisee to the Taco Bell franchisee. Because if you're a high performer in this industry, you are a hot topic. So
you're valuable.
You're valuable. So you will find a job 6 months or less, I would say. I think that'd be one option. Or you can continue to grin your teeth and bear it and climb that corporate ladder, so to speak, and replace that individual and then be the change that you wish to see. I think those are your two options. And it's very hard. It's very hard. Like I said it in one of my keynote speeches that I gave to the company a month or two ago. It's like I put in for applications and want to quit probably once a week. Once a week, if not more. How many times do I call you?
Once a week, if not more.
Right? Because that's just something I just can't stand, because it's not the micromanagement, right? People don't buy solutions to external problems. They buy solutions to internal ones. The external problem is micromanagement. The internal problem is the one that really pisses me off, and that's the lack of trust, because that's what it is.
Micromanaging is about trust.
And when you know who and where it's coming from, then that's just going to lend itself to piss you off even more. So it's like, okay, wait a minute, this is coming from who? Then that's a cultural issue, and that really, really bothers me, because it doesn't need to be that way. And part of me is it's like, okay, because I communicate with God about this all the time. Like, what do you want me to do? Like, if you want me to grin my teeth and bear it, I'll do it. But just know that that's where I'm going. Like, I'm going to take that job and fix this, because there's obviously, if micromanagement is culture, then I don't think it's totally overstepping to say that there's a huge leadership problem. Because if you have to micromanage, then you're not really being a leader.
Right.
In my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, we talked about that last week. We talked about it a lot. If you can't let go, you have a leadership problem.
Right.
How do you, let's say the culture of the company that you're working for is micromanaging, and you're in charge of a store a division, a territory, an area, whatever, what can you do?
As far as how you lead or how you might be micromanaged? Well, I think that, again, once you've developed and earned some career capital with your direct report, I think you can almost play a little game, so to speak, without being manipulative. And that is, hey, I'm going to get these things done for you. I think that these reminders would be helpful. Mm-hmm. So you sort of pick your poison in terms of what you want to be micromanaged on.
Right.
And so then they almost act as a personal assistant for you.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, hey, your learning zone's not complete. Oh, thanks. Got it. Because that's not the priority. Right? Yeah. For me, it's like, hey, just to let you guys know, you guys had like a lot of complaints last week. Thanks. I'll let these people know at which day part that it happened. Got it. All right. Yeah. There. And then you just, all right, and go off and do what you need to do. So and then go back to focusing on what you want to focus on. I think that's one way to do it. And then as far as when it comes to you leading, my people at both stores know that I do not do that. Right. I do not micromanage.
So the culture is that's kind of where I was getting towards. Mm-hmm. Was this is the culture of the company to micromanage. Mm-hmm. I don't agree with micromanaging. I think it's poor leadership, but I'm in charge of this store. I'm in charge of this area. I'm not going to micromanage. The culture of my little sphere of control mm-hmm. is going to be the culture that I set.
Right.
I, as the leader, am the buffer then mm-hmm. to protect those yep. that I am leading yep. from that culture.
Yep. So it's kind of ironic because the theme this year is excellence through empowerment, yet there's a micromanaging culture.
There's not a lot of empowerment.
So it's like, okay.
Yeah.
So, but I actually do that. And now it's dichotomous because sometimes it can bite me in the butt because mm-hmm. the dichotomy of not being a micromanager is a lack of oversight.
Right.
And so that's one thing where it's like, I do have to check in every now and then, which is why one of my managers at my other store, River, he and I have a very good relationship. He just said, you know what, Hunter, I think once the Zealand responsibilities die down for you, I think we could actually really use you at nights. Now, our GMs don't typically work nights because we have to be there for the busiest day parts of the day, lunch and dinner.
Right.
But if I got somebody telling me that this is actually where the day part that we need you the most, if you can work like some 2 to 12s, I think that would really help. Well, then I'm a fool to not take that advice.
Especially if it's someone that's a leader in your store that you trust, telling you that advice, and it's not just, and you can kind of see, you can see that hey, there's some wisdom here. Mm-hmm. You know, it's not just him or her, you know, wanting to be lazy and wanting me there just to, you know, pick up the slack that mm-hmm. they should be picking up. That's not it.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to deploy myself there for a while. We're gonna narrow in on that and fix that. And then I'm going to communicate that to my report.
Yeah, and if you're listening to this episode and you're in this industry and you have a store where there's a lot of opportunity, the biggest thing that I've seen at both Zealand and River is one of the first things that you got to do, other than focusing on speed, is to own the night. If you can own the night, then that'll be a very, very quick turnaround for you. Again, I've told this story before. The one time that I deployed myself working a 4 p.m. to a 2 a.m. at Zealand, we finished number 1 that night. Then all of a sudden the team started to believe themselves. And it's like, whoa, holy cow, we can be fast at night. And then I started to just pull back less and less and less night shifts. And now we've been perfect for 8 periods straight. Right. So, and then when I went to River in November, that was the same thing that I did. I worked closes Wednesday, Thursday, Friday night. And then we got everybody back on board. Here's how we run this thing at night. Here's how this gets out. Because there's a lot of nuance in the night where you can't just throw bodies out there and be like, oh yeah, it's covered. You guys got coverage. There's more nuance than that in terms of how to actually fix it. Because, give an example. At night, okay, well, there's a lot of strategy involved. If you don't leave your lobby open, well, then your door dashers are going to come through your drive-through. Mm-hmm. And that's going to make it
Slow your
harder
time.
to hit your drive-through times. Whereas if you can just leave the lobby open, then the DoorDashers can come inside, and then you've got another 45 seconds to make their food. And so it's like there's little things like that where you don't know until you're actually in it, right? And as soon as you can go in there and do those things, or just, again, like I said a few minutes ago, just get in there and just be the hype guy. Just have some freaking fun. Get in there and encourage them. Like I was working the line with one of our new guys last night. His name is Doug, and he's got a great attitude. And I was passing down a beefy, crunchy taco to him, and he did his thing, and he was excited to be there. And I just said, I can work with you, Doug. Mm-hmm. And he said, dude, you have no idea how much that means to me. I've never had an RGM say that to me. It's just like, what is going on?
I think that's the biggest thing that a lot of leaders overmiss is you're a leader, you're the encourager. Mm-hmm. That is a huge, huge, huge part of leading.
Yeah.
Is being the encourager. Be the encourager. Well, even when you know the shit's hitting the fan, be the encourager. And be the problem solver. Okay, the shit's hitting the fan. We're going to focus on 1, 2, 3. Go, fight, win. We'll get through it. And yeah, I mean, you and I have been in stores where the shit literally hit the fan.
Yep.
And we were scrubbing walls.
Yep. And that's funny you say that, because that's very analogous to how the great coach Nick Saban would handle things. When they were whipping ass, he would tighten things down and step on those kids' throats. But when they would lose to Auburn at the end of the year, and now they're out of the SEC championship, and now they're out of the national championships, that's when he came and just loved on them. Right? Yeah. So it's very interesting. Leadership is leadership.
Leadership, yeah. There's, I think a big aspect of leadership that a lot of people overlook is you're the encourager.
Which is why I think, and we've talked about this before, which is why I think even the title has to change. RGM, even the word manager, it's like you're not.
Right.
I mean, you are, but there is a distinction between a manager and a leader. And
we've talked about that a lot.
And there are way more of the former than they are than the latter.
Exactly.
Which is why we're having these conversations, and which is why if you're a leader and you don't know where to go, then I would encourage you to get into fast food, because you will kill it, right? And this
fast food, QSR, quick service restaurant, is crying out for leaders. There is a huge vacuum for leaders.
Yeah.
For true leadership.
Yeah.
There is a humongous vacuum. I think, when you look at statistics, the restaurant industry is actually at the bottom in terms of success, of succeeding. If you're going into trying to get funding and I want to open a restaurant, your business plan has to be far more tight if you're a restaurant to get funding than almost any other business.
You want to know what my little brother said? My little brother's an executive chef in Scottsdale. He said, to make money in this industry, what did he say? He said, if you want to make $1 million, you got to start with 2 million.
You got to start with 2.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I totally agree. I mean, I totally agree with that. But I think one of the ways to turn that statistic around is through leadership.
Yeah.
Okay, the QSR has a high failure rate. The restaurant business in general has a high failure rate. But the restaurant business in general has a humongous lack of leadership. So could the solution be we need to develop yet more leaders? And that will help turn around the statistics, the failure rate.
Yeah, I mean, it's incredibly wishful thinking, David, but I don't know any other solution, and that's part of what I wrestle with God about as a Christian, in terms of, okay, Lord, like, if you want me to grin my teeth and bear it and pick up my cross every single day and work and grind and climb this corporate ladder until I get to that top spot, to then get rid of the micromanager and then instill a culture of trust and empowerment, then could that be the one domino that right. sort of begins to affect maybe not the industry, but at least the concept that I'm in right now. So these are things that I think about, but it's like I don't know any other way to do it.
Right, and I've said this before. You need both.
Unless you and I start our own franchise.
Yeah, I've said this before. You need both managers and leaders. You need someone who has their eye on the numbers, who can dissect the numbers, who is passionate about KPIs, key performance indicators. I mean, I throw acronyms around a lot. You do too, but who is passionate about KPIs? Leaders aren't necessarily passionate about KPIs.
Well, I mean, I would say I'm very passionate about KPIs.
But you have to have someone that is so passionate about, you have to have both a manager and a leader.
Yeah, you need to have a manager and a leader. I mean, I would say that I'm incredibly passionate about the numbers.
Yeah, but you're passionate about developing people.
I'm passionate about developing people to hit those numbers.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think that you need both in a balanced company to be successful.
Mm-hmm.
However, I think in the restaurant industry, it breeds managers. It doesn't breed leaders.
Yeah.
So we need to.
And because it breeds managers, then they're going to grow up to become micromanagers, and then exist in perpetuity. Right. And then this is why we're having these conversations. So
yeah,
I don't know. So what is? I mean, so that's at the small scale. That's how you succeed, despite being micromanaged. Is perform, micromanage the micromanager, mm-hmm. or deploy what Logan said to me yesterday about having a list.
Right.
Right.
So this is what I wrote down. I wrote perform. Win trust with small things. Update them before you're asked. Ask clear questions. Show your plan. That's mm-hmm. your list thing. Mm-hmm. Rhythm. And by rhythm, I mean, okay, update them with small things every Tuesday. I'm calling my boss.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, develop a rhythm. Provide solutions, not problems. Track your wins. Stay calm and professional. One of the things we didn't talk about, but I think it's important, especially as you build up that business capital, is ask for more ownership. By that, I mean, ask for more responsibility. Hey, I'm building up trust. I've got trust. I keep winning with these small things. I want to become a training store. What do I need to do that? I want to be a loss prevention manager.
Those are music. That's music to your direct reports ears.
Exactly.
Right. Because I mean, that's the game in this industry, because if they can promote you, they can retain you. And that's the solve for one of the biggest problems in the industry, as we talked about last time, is retention. We just can't keep enough people. And so, like, when I was having a one-on-one, because that's what I did. As soon as that guy, Doug is his name, said what he said, I just looked at my two other shift leads there, Jared and BK, and I said, I'm going to take Doug off the floor for a one-on-one real quick. Because I needed to know this guy's story. And then as he was sharing things with me, he's like, I love this crew here. You guys are really positive, and this is someplace that I want to grow. What?
Yeah.
What did you say? Right. Okay. Well, let's revisit this in a month. Doug can get you settled because he's newer, right? And all I want you to focus on when you're here, because he's a closer, just help Jared, help BK, do whatever you got to do to go green, because that's what we're judged on.
Have the best closes. Yeah.
Green.
Go green.
Green.
Yeah.
Green. Just have us go green, and then we'll revisit this in a month.
Yeah.
And
then in a month, you sit down with him and you you went green 90% of the time. Let's talk about some opportunity.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, we just certified a young man. I think he's 18, 19. So he's one of our newest shift leads. And Jared, my manager there, I don't need this, but he can't thank me enough for the young man's name is Damien. Because before we were together in November, they weren't sure if Damien was going to make it. And Damien was just a food champion back then. Mm-hmm. And then and then all I did was what we talked about earlier. I just deployed myself at night, got after it with them, had fun, played music. It was a lively environment. They didn't suck, because that's one thing that they just don't want. I think that we had a manager meeting this past week, and I said, "What do you guys want?" And they said, "To not suck anymore." Right? It's not fun. I mean, it's not fun seeing red cars.
Yeah, I mean, no one, right? No person, no team, no man, no one wants to be a loser. Mm-hmm. And if you can go in and say, you guys aren't losers, mm-hmm. and this is how we're going to get to be winners. Mm-hmm. That's coaching. Yeah. That's coaching 101. No team wants to be a loser, whether you're in the NFL or whether you're in a QSR restaurant.
And if only more people, and this is something that Jordan Peterson has talked about as well, it's like you have no idea how far just a little encouragement goes. Because people just don't, people don't get it. Like, they just don't get it, enough of it these days. And when you give a little bit, it is like cocaine to them. It's like, what? I've never heard somebody say that to me before. I remember one of my first days, I think it might have actually been my first day at Zealand's. This was like mid-August. And the order taker, one of my managers, her name's Missy, she was taking an order, and she's like, "Did you want to upgrade to a large drink for just 20 cents more?" I'm like, "Nice upsell, Missy." Yeah. And she's like, "I've never had a manager say that to me before." It's like, come on. Like,
yeah, I mean,
notice the good things and then praise them for it. It's directly B.F. Skinner's research. Yeah. Good behavior ignored discontinues.
Oh, I did totally, 100%. I mean, if there's things about being a leader, or there's things about owning franchises, those kind of things that you love, there are things that you hate. One of the biggest things that I loved about being a franchisee was being an encourager. Yeah. I love encouraging people. Mm-hmm. Love it. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's air to me. Mm-hmm. I really like encouraging people.
So, but what I want to talk about next time.
Well, let's encapsulate this, and then we'll talk about next time. Okay. So, win trust with small things. Yep. Perform. Yep. Update constantly. Show your plan. Mm-hmm. I think those are 4 or 5 good points right there. Any other point you want to add to that?
The more you do perform, the more that you can have those conversations with your direct report. And just, again, this is a very metrics focused industry. Mm-hmm. You can just say, "Hey, look at the data since I've been here. Yeah. I think I got a pretty good hold on this. Here's where I could use your help on certain things." I mean, but then that's the thing. That's the thing where, why I'm such an advocate for working out in this industry, because most people don't want to have that conversation because it's very uncomfortable to them. But the fact of the matter is, everything that you want are on the other side of conversations you're afraid to have. And when you work out, you understand that those things are actually very, very easy, because when you kick your own dick in first thing in the morning, then those crucial conversations are still crucial, but they're not nearly as intimidating.
KPIs and metrics are not in and of themselves bad.
No, they can actually be your best friend.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So, but what I wanted to talk about next time, this is something that I've been thinking about since I first read the book over 10 years ago. Jim Collins talks about this hedgehog concept, David. And I still don't think I've got it. I don't think I've got it yet. But for the listeners, a hedgehog concept, your hedgehog concept is pretty much everything that you can run your life through, especially your career. And so it's 3 circles within themselves. So what you are passionate about, and there's a caveat with that, because Jim Collins alludes to the same message that Cal Newport talks about in his book, So Good They Can't Ignore You. It's not purely pursuing passion. It's becoming passionate at what you're doing, right? And so that's number 1. Number 2 is what drives your economic engine, which is a fancy way of saying what fills your pockets, what makes you money, where is the economic opportunity, right? Are you filling a demand or are you creating a demand? It's much easier to fill it than create it. And then lastly is, what do you have the potential to be the best in the world at? And then that's a really big one there that might require some further excavation. It's not necessarily what you're really good at or what you're competent at. It's what can you be the best in the world at? We've talked about this before. Redenbacher does popcorn. That's their hedgehog. They're passionate about it. They are the best in the world at it, and I'm sure they make a hell of a lot of money. So, but that's one thing that I want to get into, because it's something that I've had iterations of what my hedgehog is, but I still don't think I've got it down. I think I might be doing it as we speak. My wife is like, I think you're doing it right now, but I haven't been able to articulate it. And if you can articulate it in such a way, then I think that'll provide a lot of clarity. So maybe we can talk about that, because I think that's one thing that would really empower artistic warriors and leaders if they know what their hedgehog is.
Right.
Yeah.
But I like where you said, how did you word it? I don't mean what you're passionate about, but what you can become passionate about it. Yeah, I think
I was not passionate about fast food until I got into it. Then I started getting good at it. I'm like, whoa.
Ding, 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 ding.
Right?
I was not passionate about fast food, and I bought,
There's nothing that there are a few things that feel better than getting better at something.
Right. So I was looking for my economic engine.
Mm-hmm.
And looked at some opportunity, and my economic engine ended up becoming fast food.
Mm-hmm.
And then I became passionate about fast food.
Mm-hmm.
I was not passionate about fast food in the beginning. Now I'm passionate about fast food.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. So. And what can you be the best in the world at? For me, not necessarily the best in the world at, but you know what? I can be different, think different. What is it? What's the thing we say? You are different, or, you're built different.
Mm-hmm.
I can be different about leading in the fast food industry.
Mm-hmm.
I saw how a lot of franchisees and people led their companies. And it's like, I can do this totally different than that.
Yeah. And that's what's called a unique selling proposition. I mean, if you can be different, well, I mean, that's the game in a lot of ways, right? I mean, I can write a book, but if my idea isn't different than anybody else's, it's not going to sell.
Yeah.
I mean, so I
mean, there's a lot of self-improvement books. There's a lot of leadership books. There's a lot of, this in and of itself is a self-improvement book, but it's different. I like the hedgehog thing. Yeah.
I think there's lots of room to discuss that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And who knows, QSR can be your hedgehog.
Yeah.
I mean, it became my hedgehog. It's becoming your hedgehog.
Mm-hmm.
It can be your hedgehog.
Yeah. So.
And it probably can be your hedgehog easier than some other things.
Easier and faster.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
If you like the show, share the show. 5-star reviews only. That's David Taylor. He's coming out with a book. Be sure to follow him on LinkedIn. Can't wait for that puppy to come out. I'm most active on LinkedIn as well. I also dabble on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok. I try to be all over the place. I try to be omnipresent, but the ones I spend the most time on would definitely be LinkedIn and Facebook. Yeah. But the book is The Way Out of Self-Sabotage into Self-Mastery. You can get that on Amazon and at huntercharneski.com. I think that's all for today. Talk to you guys next time.